Hello everyone and welcome to Retail Archaeology. It's Christmas time, which is one of my favorite times to go to the mall. And in this episode of Retail Archaeology, we'll be checking out Christown Specturm Mall in Phoenix, Arizona. It's been almost 5 years since I've been here, and I wanted to check out Christown Specturm again because I've heard from a lot of viewers that this place has changed quite a bit and is not nearly as busy as it used to be. Here's a look at a map of the mall, and as you can see, it's not a very big place at all. It did used to be bigger, but over the years it's been cut up and parts of it have been demolished as they kind of slowly redeveloped this place into a power center as opposed to an enclosed mall. Because this mall has been cut up and reconfigured so many times over the years, you end up with some awkward spaces in it, like this long weird walkway that's right by the Walmart entrance. The last time I was here, this mall was still pretty busy despite having just recently lost a couple of anchor stores. But I've heard from a lot of people recently that this place is now a dead mall, or at least it feels that way, and it definitely feels more that way now than when I was last here. I've covered the history of this mall pretty extensively in the past, but this is a historic mall, so it's probably worth covering again. The mall opened in 1961 as Christown Mall originally, and it was named for Chris Hari, who was the farmer that sold his land to the developers to build this mall. Christown Mall was the first indoor mall in Arizona, and it's currently the oldest operating indoor mall in Arizona. Its original anchors were Montgomery Ward, JCPenney, and Corix. This mall has had a couple of different owners over the years, and that's led to a few different name changes. Back in November of 2001, the mall was renamed Phoenix Spectrum Mall. However, a lot of locals didn't like that, and they still continued to refer to it as Christown Mall. And then in 2006, when the mall changed hands again, it was renamed to Christown Specturm Mall, combining both names. Currently, the mall is owned by Kimco, and they purchased it in 2015 for $115.3 million. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, the current owners are in the process of their long-term plan of redeveloping this place, and eventually those redevelopment plans will include getting rid of what's left of the indoor mall that is here. The fact that this mall is a lot less busy than the last few times I was here, and also knowing that the mall's days are numbered, definitely adds to the dead mall vibes in here. I am happy to see that they are still making a pretty good effort to decorate for Christmas. The Christmas decorations crossed with the 1960s bones of this mall are pretty great. I enjoy this mall quite a bit architecturally, and I especially love all of the skylights that are cut out in the ceiling all throughout it. I also like that they celebrate the mall's past quite a bit in here. There's banners and posters all over the place with historic pictures of the mall. This particular corridor of the mall is very, very quiet. There really wasn't much noise besides the couple of sounds that some of these claw games make, and then just the kind of quiet Christmas music playing throughout. This Walmart sits where the former Corix anchor used to be. At one point, the Corix converted to a Broadway department store due to a purchase, but then in 1993, it was closed and torn down, and the Walmart location opened in 1994. This Christmas tree setup here caught my eye just because it looks completely different from all of the other Christmas decor throughout the mall. So I'm guessing this is actually Walmart's decorations. This Five Below location is new since the last time I was here, but you'll notice it doesn't actually open into the mall. There are a lot of new big box type stores that have been opening here, but as they open, none of them have entrances into the mall. And that makes sense because it's pretty likely that at some point there won't be a mall for them to open up into anymore. We're walking down the main corridor of the mall now, and I really like the traditional style Christmas decor that they've gone with in here. I like all the lighted garland down the sides of the wall and then along the arches. I think this traditional style of Christmas decor matches up really well with the mall's vintage aesthetics. Even though this mall is on the small side, the way that they've done the decor in here makes it feel more Christmassy in this mall than it does in busier malls that I've been into recently. This mall does have a lot of independent and mom and pop type stores now at this point, but there are still some national chains located here, like this famous footwear. There's still a Journeys shoe store here as well, although it looks like the Claire's just recently closed. That looks like one of the stores that maybe didn't survive the bankruptcy. There's still a GameStop here as well, although that's an older GameStop sign. I haven't seen one that says GameStop.com in a long time. Something else you'll notice about this mall is most of the kiosks are empty now. Some of the bigger ones are still occupied, but a lot of these smaller ones are all empty now. We're walking up to the main entrance of the mall, the one that we were driving up to when the video first started. And this is their big Christmas tree and Santa Claus photography area. And I actually really like this. Again, it's very traditional, but I think it looks pretty great in the center of the main entryway here. Even though this mall is in its twilight years at this point, I still give them an A for the Christmas decor this year. I like this a lot better than what I saw at Arizona Mills last year, for instance, which is a much bigger and busier mall than this. But it definitely feels more like Christmas in here. This mall doesn't really have a food court anymore. That was torn down years ago. But it does still have a Wetzel's Pretzels there on the right, and then on the other side of here there is a Charlie's cheesesteak place. In front of us to the left of the American Furniture Warehouse store is a former Bath & Body Works location, and it's kind of weird to see a closed one of those. Usually those are one of the last stores to leave a mall. The American Furniture Warehouse store is where the original JCPenney anchor was located. That closed in 1997, and in 2001 a Costco opened in that spot. That Costco was still here the first time I covered this mall, and this big empty area was all of the seating for the Costco snack bar, which was open into the mall. The Costco closed in 2022 and was replaced with this American Furniture Warehouse store. However, from what I've read in the news recently, this American Furniture Warehouse store will be closing soon, and they plan to open a Home Depot in this spot in 2026. And just like the new Five Below store that opened up here recently, the new Home Depot location will not have an entrance that opens into the mall. The old Montgomery Ward building is actually still here and is the only original mall anchor building that's still left. However, that's not accessible from the mall anymore either. The Montgomery Ward closed in 2001, and I'm not sure when exactly, but at some point they split that building into two and put a PetSmart and a Ross in there. Neither of those stores are accessible from inside the mall because the wing that went to them is now blocked by a new anchor building that was built around 2006. And that new anchor that was built in 2006 was a new JCPenney location. This empty spot here is where the new JCPenney used to be located, although it closed back in 2020. So this mall has had two different JCPenney locations over the years. The original closed in 1997, and then they built a new one in 2006, which that was actually just the former Metro Center Mall location moving here when Metro Center Mall closed. I can't think of another mall off the top of my head that has lost the same anchor store twice. Even though that JCPenney building looks empty from this side, there was actually a Hobby Lobby and a Burlington that recently moved into that building, and you'll notice neither of those open into the mall either. I think that's definitely more evidence that the long-term plan for this place is to just knock it all down eventually and replace it with big box stores. Which I think would be really sad because, like I said, this mall opened in 1961 and it's the oldest operating mall in the Phoenix area. A lot of the vintage malls in the Phoenix area have been demolished at this point, so this is one of the last ones to still exist. I'm not sure as far as any concrete dates on when this place will actually close. I couldn't find anything, but it doesn't seem like they're really trying to lease out any of the empty spaces, so I'm guessing they're just waiting for all of the leases to run out before they actually close the mall and start redeveloping this part. What are your thoughts on Christown Specturm Mall though? Is it a mall that you shop at regularly, or is it one that you have memories of going to when you were a kid? I'd love to know down in the comments below. As for me, this has been one of my favorite malls that I've visited so far this Christmas season. Hopefully this place has at least a few more Christmases before it's gone forever. As always everyone, thanks for watching. Want to see your name here? Head on over to patreon.com/retailarchaeology to find out how you can help support the channel. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out an old mall during Christmas time with me. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and also follow at the social media links down there because that's the best way to keep up with what's going on with the Retail Archaeology channel.